Yeah. Go ahead and be a counselor, Quatazar. They're like, you doing telling the truth, but he can't eat. You know, this ain't the IURC. This ain't Purple Rain. You can eat it here, as long as it's lawful. All right. All right. Mm-hmm. Just bear with me 1 second, Israel. Bear with me. All right. All right, Shalom, Israel. Yahweh Bashem Yahshua Barakatham, Yahweh Shemar Thumb Bashem Yahushua, priest and officer 1000 Yadai, hold it down till 12. Shield General Muhammad gets here. Black, Latino, First Nation, man and woman. We have to understand, man, as the Lord's chosen people, now is the time to wake up. Now is the time for our people to come back into this truth. A lot to go over. We know what happened to that brother. I mean, that was the police officer out there at Temple being robbed by an oppressor and killed, murdered by the oppressor, man. Oppressor young boy came down from Bucks County and murdered that brother, man. Goes to show you, man. These things only happen to our people. That's why we have to come together. That's why we have to wake up. If I could, Quatazar, give me Romans chapter 13 and verse 11. We got to come together as Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians. It's time for us to wake up because we don't understand, man. We think we can just be free, white, and 21. Can't live that lifestyle. Can't live like that. You know what I mean? This can't. You know what I mean? We was out there. We was asking Israel. Y'all was out there, Matham, you know what I mean? Quatazar. You know what I mean? And Israel know, and the oppressor know too. I mean, these things only happen to our people. These things only happen to our people. And it goes to show you, like it truly goes to show you like how important this truth is. Because without it, we are lost. Without it, we have nothing. Like we gain everything by coming back into this truth, by keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, and coming into the I.S.U.P.K. Read what you got, Romans chapter 13 and verse 11.
Khan is the book of Romans chapter 13, verse 11.
Go ahead.
And that, knowing the time.
Knowing the time is what? That this is the time. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't say I'm going to do it next week. Do it now. This is the time, especially if you know you're an Israelite. Like, don't be an individual. Like, don't be, you know what I mean, a brother or sister that's not sure. You got to make sure. You got to make sure. Like, you got to come up in these classes, man. You know what I mean? And get down and learn and study and shed yourself of the world. Keep coming. Keep going.
That now it is high time.
It's high time. I mean, it is high time. Keep going.
To awake out of sleep.
To awake out of sleep. Now it is high time to awake out of sleep. Because everybody claims to be so woke, and they're not. Everybody claims to be so woke, especially this weekend. Like, you know, I've talked to a lot of, I mean, brothers and sisters that think, I mean, they have this higher knowledge that, oh, I'm one of the gods in the earths. I'm in the fruit of Islam. I'm about, you know, some of y'all sisters believe just because you burn sage and put a head wrap on, you know what I mean, that the universe is with you, that you are God within. No. Stop getting high. You got to understand, now was the time to wake up. Now was the time to realize that you don't know nothing at all. Like, our people have no idea. You have no idea who our enemy is. You have no idea just how oppressed, just how destroyed we are here in America. And not just in America, but in Mexico, the West Indian Islands, I mean in Haiti and Trinidad and Tobago, all over. Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, man. It's time for us to wake up. Because in that, knowing the time, that it's high time to awake out of sleep. Keep going.
For now is our salvation nearer than when we believe.
Hey, listen, our salvation is nearer than what we believe, man. Like, listen, man, we like Kobe in the fourth quarter, 2 minutes left. It's that tight. Now is the time to get right. Our salvation is nearer, and our salvation is only for our people. I mean, I done watched a lot of, Israel. I was watching Preaching Officer 5000 Kazak Ahmad earlier today. You know what I mean? Handle himself excellently, of course. You know what I mean? Had opened up his TikTok as a forum, and the oppressor came up in there, making excuses. Talking about, well, there was a brother in Charleston that owned slaves. Like one brother, and it happened. But the thing is, too, that brother that owned, whatever that brother's name is, it slips my mind, that owned slaves is no different than having 5 police officers kill one brother. Is that you're following after the oppressor. You're being influenced by the oppressor. And that's what happens to our people. The oppressor tries to justify his wickedness by saying, oh, but that brother did that. Black people kill black people. That is an in-house problem. That is a problem that can be solved with the I.S.U.P.K, and we solving that problem. We solving the issues that plague blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, man. But when the oppressor and these other nations do it, that is a real act of war. That's why when you read, in Psalms, the 83rd chapter, when it says that these other nations are confederate against thee, they are. The tabernacles of Edom, the oppressor, the Ishmaelites, the Arabs, Moab, the Chinese, they come up against our people. Now we have to understand, like our people complain, quite design say, well, the world is against us. It is. It is. This age and society of America is against blacks and Latinos. Like the attack is non-stop. And it doesn't care how old you are, doesn't care how young you are. Like this system that is in play here in America, here in New Babylon, modern day Babylon, which is spiritually Sodom and Egypt, we have to wake up. We have to understand, that there is nothing out here for us. As a matter of fact, Mathun, give me Lamentations, right? Give me Lamentations, the 4th chapter. It started verse 17. Because we need to understand, man, we put our trust in the system. You putting our trust in the police force. You putting your trust, in the oppressor's military. You putting your trust in everything that revolves around the oppressor, thinking that is going to get us right. You do the same thing when it comes to our athletes. I know everybody saw this horrible all-star game that they had, and that horrible halftime show. You had Ham and Cheese performing at halftime, quite desire, and I still cannot find that stage presence that African Akon was talking about. I'm trying to tell you, everyone is against us, and everyone benefits off of our suffering, off of the backs of blacks and Latinos, man. Like, you don't realize, man, that we are nothing but entertainment for these people. Like, we are nothing just but amusement for them. That's why it's important for us to understand our true value, understanding that being a black man from the tribe of Judah, being a sister from the tribe of Benjamin, if you're from the West Indian Islands, to be a man or woman from the tribe of Issachar or Mexican. We are God's chosen people and the greatest people on this earth. And we have a law that we have to live by, the law of our God. We have ways that we have to follow. And it's right here in this Bible. You can't do that in the police force. You can't be a righteous brother and sister and be, an officer. You can't be a righteous brother and sister and be in the oppressor's military. Like, are you aware how many of our Hispanic brothers and sisters work as border patrol? Like, just imagine that for 1 second. You at the border oppressing our own people while they let the oppressor walk through. They let the Arabs walk through, but our people got to get detained in them cages. Something is extremely wrong. It shows a complete lack of empathy and, more importantly, a lack of brotherhood. That's why we are destroyed, because you don't look at your fellow brother and your fellow sister like we're family. You don't. Our people have this deep, hatred, for one another. That is misplaced, and it's also biblical because it's a curse from the Most High. But here's the thing, black man, Latino man, First Nation man and woman. But because of our King, Yahweh Shah Mashiach, And because, you know what I mean, our God sent these prophets back in 1969, we are solving that problem, man. We are the solution to the issue. But the problem is, man, you think you could perpetuate this same madness and things will get better. Things are only going to get worse as long as you have America and the oppressor on your mind and prevalent. You need to have our God. You need to have these laws, statutes, and commandments. You need to have the I.S.U.P.K. Read what you got.
Lamentations chapter 4, verse 17.
Go ahead.
As for us,
As for us, meaning as for blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, read.
our eyes as yet failed.
Our eyes has failed. Why have our eyes failed? What has failed us? We in so-called Black History Month. Are you aware that this is the shortest month of the year? There is no love, no respect, no reverence whatsoever. Like our eyes has failed for our, read it again.
As for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help.
For our vain help. Vain meaning nothing. Like it's pointless. It's useless. It is nada. It's pointless to put your trust in this place. It is pointless to look at men like Joe Biden and think, oh, he's going to help us. It's pointless to look at men like Trump, to look at women like Hillary Clinton, to think they have our best interests at heart. These other nations do not. These other nations cannot stand us. And because you follow after them, you end up taking on their mindset and you can't stand our own people neither. But it says, as for us, our eyes has failed for our vain help, putting our trust in the oppressor, putting our trust, you know what I mean, not in the Most High, not in our King, not in these priests and prophets, but putting our trust in something that's vain, something that's nothing. You putting your trust in America. Like you think, you know what I mean, if you work and stay out the way and be all right, that everything's gonna be okay. You think, if I could just get that record deal, if I could just make it to the NBA or the NFL, or if I could just get off this corner, you'll suffer the same fate if you're not doing what our God said to do. Like, you know, and that's the thing too, man, like, or our people don't realize. Like, look at all the brothers and sisters that we have lost, you know what I mean, up until this point. Don't matter how rich and famous you are, doesn't matter how poor and broke dirt you are. If you're not keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, and if you're not in the UPK, God is not with you. The fact that you even know, you know what I mean, the fact, and which makes it heavier. You putting your trust in these people. You think this is the way out. You think this is the only solution. It is not. Like, it's not. The only solution is coming up in here. The only solution is saying, I'm going to put those drugs down. The solution is I'm going to stop killing my brother and my sister. Like, I'm going to stop with the gangs and the gang warfare. I'm going to stop with the hoard and the hoarding. And you don't understand, man, like these oppressors in America, they support all of these vices. They support all of it and promote it too. They don't do that to nobody else. If you look at TikTok, right, when General Muhammad broke that down, it blew my mind. Like China put regulations on their children of what they're allowed to watch. What they got to watch, like 3 hours of learning like material in China before they can watch all the silly shit that our kids and what we watch. They don't require that for our people. They just pump that garbage out to our people and say, man, just half at it. Go ahead. Get stupid. But they require their children to at least learn something. Because they love and care about the well-being of them and their children and the generations to come. We have to be the same way. I pray you understand. But our eyes has failed for our vain help. Keep going.
In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us.
And watching for a nation that could not save us. Now, this is so-called Black History Month. You watching for a nation that cannot save us. Like, I can only imagine, you know what I mean, and find insane the history. If you look at, you know what I mean, what happened to our people, I'm not even going to go all the way back to the 1800s. Let's just go into the early 1900s. Rosewood, Tulsa, Oklahoma, all of that. And then somewhere in the early 50s, you think, oh, let's integrate with these people. that's burning down our cities, that's burning down our hospitals, that's burning down our schools. It's like, you want to live next to that person? You want to live next to the oppressor that's doing that? Like, that is insanity at its finest. And then a lot of y'all, man, you want to join their military, which is even more crazy when you think about it. Like, I'm too old, boy. I appreciate it. That's why we got to understand, like, our eyes is filled for our vain help and watching for a nation that could not save us. They're not going to save us. Like, I don't know if y'all realize this. Our people have been voting for how many years? Like, you know how many times in Black History Month that I have to hear, you know what I mean, but, you know, the history, you know what I mean, about this, our people fighting to vote and doing this and integration and what we want and what we accomplished. And I just asked a simple question. What have we accomplished? If you ask me, we going backwards. You telling me there was a time where we had cities and towns and communities where it was just Black people, just Latinos and Native Indians living together in prosperity, own businesses, restaurants, schools, and hospitals. You can't find that now nowhere. Where? Please tell me. What happened to it? I'll tell you. You got beguiled by the oppressor. You got beguiled by the serpent that somehow made us believe that us integrating and going in their bathroom is better than our own bathroom. Going to their chicken store is better than their chicken store. Barack, YAHANNA should be out shop right up.
Clap it up. Let's get it on. Take your questions in the room and online. We'll go over that cop in Philadelphia that got shot this week, so you brothers in Philly can take that out on the street. I have a few other videos that if I get to it, we'll go into those. If not, we'll do it on the online night, all right? Mandatory online night Thursday. Questions, let's go. In the back.
Sir, I was studying 1 Samuel 9, 1 through 2 about Saul, king,
Right.
and he was a Benjamite. I always thought the king line came through Judah, sir. So, could you
No problem.
educate me on that?
Saul was the first king of Israel. Before King Saul, Judah was ruled by regional judges. So imagine just every particular region had a judge, and he was combination sheriff. He was judge, jury, and executioner in that city in conjunction with the priests, which of course were the ones in charge of the law, in charge of, you know, letting him know who was breaking the law. And they administered the things of the law, took the sacrifices, collected the tithes, did the whole thing. But he was the court, right? And men worked for him and they worked for his judgeship. Samson was a judge over Israel. I'm fine, warrior. I'm sure you've heard of him, right? Another famous one is Shamgar, who was a famous judge over Israel. You have many others, right? Then the children of Israel decided that they wanted a king like the heathens or the other nations had a king. So then the Most High allowed them to have a king. And King Saul was the most upright man in Israel, the most righteous man in Israel. And the Most High God made King Saul the first king over the tribes of Israel. Time went by. The Philistines were a usual vexation to the nation of Israel. One day, the Philistines were encamped to battle us, but everyone was afraid to go into one-on-one battle with the tallest and the most famous of the Philistines at that time. His name was Goliath. There was a sheep herder who tended sheep all day who just came to the battle to give his older brothers food. That's why he was there. He was supposed to be home tending to the sheep, but he had to run some food to the battlefield because his older brothers were at the battlefield. As he was there, he saw this giant Philistine challenging all of the armies of Israel, anyone who would be willing to come on the field to fight him, to a contest of one-on-one battle. King Saul said, whoever fights him will get my daughter to marry all of this gold and silver and wealth, no one, including his brothers, was willing to fight Goliath. He stepped up and did it. He fought Goliath and he took off his head and he killed that stinking heathen that day. And from then on, he was famous and renowned and popular, and the girls loved him. And one day, after a parade and another battle he fought after that, the girls were singing and they said, Saul killed 5,000, David killed 10,000. The Bible says from that moment on, King Saul hated King David. And then King Saul began to deteriorate. Well, I'll take the regular one then. I did leave it upstairs. So I'm fine. No, I'm fine. I'll take the strong. And is the coffee already ready? Then I'll take the cup, the water. So I appreciate it. So then one day, the Most High God demanded that King Saul kill every Amalekite in this particular region. That they all be put to death. King Saul didn't kill everyone. He left the king of the Amalekites alive and the most expensive sheep and the best cattle. He didn't kill them. When the Most High God said to kill every living thing. The judge over Israel, the prophet of God over Israel at that time came and saw it. He heard sheep blathering. He heard, cows mooing. And he saw one Amalekite king alive. And from that day, he knew that the Most High God was no longer with King Saul because he was disobedient to the words of God. The prophet took out a sword and hacked the Amalekite king into pieces. And then from there on, he rent the kingdom of Israel from King Saul. And he anointed that child, that sheep herder, the first Judite king over Israel. That Judite king's name was King David from the line of King Jesse, his father. His son was King Solomon. His great-great-great-grandson is Jesus Christ. Everyone understands. You can just simply go in the precepts in the Bible. If you need one precept to tie it home for you, you just ask and I'll give it to you. Please. You would like one? Go ahead.
Philistines in the Bible, historically, who are they today?
The Philistines today are an African tribe. Right? Many of those 7 kingdoms that were expelled from the land of Israel were, all African tribes. The so-called Egyptians, the real Egyptians, not the ones there today. The Nibians and the Agashites and the Girgashites, those are all African tribes. Africans have been our enemies for quite a long time. For a long time, we battled and fought on the outskirts of our land and their land, in the land of Israel. All right, the Amalekites that we spoke about, the ones who the King Saul did not kill, when he spared one alive, the king, and did not kill their choice sheep, that was a tribe of what you would call today so-called Jewish people. Right? There was a particular tribe of oppressor, that particular tribe, the Ashkenazi, that particular tribe. Everyone understands. I appreciate it, Dr. Water. Anything else? Questions up front?
Sir, I did a breakdown of Ecclesiastes chapter 25, 21 to 23.
No problem.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 25, verse 21. Stumble not at the beauty of a woman and desire her not for pleasure. Verse 22. A woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger and impudence.
Mm-hmm. Alexa, what does impudence mean? Got it wrong. I'll break it down for you while we're waiting for Alexa, all right? You want me to break down the entire thing, or is there a particular part about this you need? From the top.
Ecclesiastes chapter 25, verse 21. Stumble not at the beauty of a woman.
Stumble, one last thing. Let me get into this text real fast. My apologies. Come on. The water. I'll get to that. I'll practicar mi español in 1 second. I want to get into a few things tonight. I just don't want to forget. Bear with me 1 second. Stand by. Stand by. Okay. Please read from the top.
This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 25, verse 21. Stumble not at the beauty of a woman.
Stumble not at the beauty of a woman. Young brothers, this is something, right, that in the world you think you don't need to know. But as you grow up, as you become a man, there are not many things more important than understanding discipline when it comes to a woman. There are lives that will be lost because they don't know how to be disciplined when it comes to a woman. There are men that are going to jail, men that are going to the grave because they give themselves into the indulgence of beautiful women. It's a terrible, terrible weakness to have as a man. You understand? The Bible says, stumble not at the beauty of a woman. Think about what stumbling means in the metaphor, where you go to now, you're walking a straight line and you're on the right path, but then you begin to trip. Then you begin to fall because she is beautiful. Don't stumble. Let me give you a real life scenario. You know you should not be with a woman who has a boyfriend, a woman who has a husband. That's a sin against God. But because she's so attractive, because you want her so much, you have sex with her, or you call her, or you pay her attention, or you spend a little more time with her at work than you should, or you laugh and talk with her and go to lunch with her. Before you know it, brother, you're going to stumble. You're going to make a mistake, which is what a beautiful woman will cause you to do. She'll cause you to make a mistake. Now, the problem is you think you want to make that mistake because you think that the only thing that can happen is you getting to have sex with this beautiful woman. But that beautiful woman is how you're going to die. Go to child support court and see how many beautiful women are dragging brothers into child support court, dragging in 6, 7 men into child support court. Oh, they're bad. They're absolutely beautiful. Just so you know, when they get a little older, they look terrible. Let that woman who you are ready to go to jail for now, let her get about 40 years old. She's a walking hag that no one wants at all. And you're going to sit there and look at her and go, that's my baby's mother. That Cyclops is my baby's mother. And then you'll have to tell everyone, well, you should have saw her back in the day. Hey, I see her now. And she's terrible. Before you know it, the evil spirit on the inside, it starts to come out. See, when they're young, that evil spirit is trapped in the cocoon of that body and that face. But at round about 40, that butterfly, that moth, that bug comes out of that monster, and she becomes just as ugly on the outside as she is on the inside. Here's what you have to know. She's ugly on the inside right now, but you don't see it. You don't see how selfish she is, do you? You don't see how lustful she is. You don't see how she cares about nothing but getting what she wants. You don't notice that. Why, young brother? Because she's beautiful. That's how you stumble. You don't notice her flaws. You'll notice them almost immediately after you have sex with her, though. You'll see everything. You'll see how cruel she is. But you don't notice it until you have sex with her. Don't stumble at the beauty of a woman. Don't allow a woman's beauty to allow you to make a mistake. You might not get up from that stumble. Do you understand? Keep going.
And desire her not for pleasure.
Stop right there. Read that again.
And desire her not for pleasure.
And desire her not for pleasure. Break that down. This is talking about desire, right? You want her. Don't want her for pleasure. Don't do that. That's a stupid, ignorant way to create a family, which is what sex does, whether you want it to or not. That's what sex makes happen. Families. You don't realize that you're creating a family with that whore. Come on, you die. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. You don't realize that you're creating a family with that promiscuous woman. You don't realize that. You think you're just getting sex. You're getting her pregnant. You're going to get her pregnant. You're going to get her pregnant. You're going to be with her. That's what's going to happen. You don't plan on being with her, but you're going to be with her. Or she's giving you a venereal disease, and you're going to take that home to the other women you have, or you'll give her AIDS, like so many Christian men who have sex, who have alternative lifestyles, and then go have sex with black women. You're going to give her AIDS, and then she'll, of course, give it to everybody else. Sex has repercussions that you think you can escape from, but you cannot. You cannot. The death rate, the AIDS rate, the venereal disease rate, the family court should tell you that you cannot escape the repercussions of sex. Don't choose her for sex. Don't pick a woman because, you know, her butt is so big. Don't pick a woman because her breasts are so big. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. To choose a woman, you know, because you think you're going to get sex from her is a dumb, dumb thing to do, brother. Don't do that. You're going to make a terrible mistake. Keep going.
Verse 22. A woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger.
A woman, if she maintains her husband, she is full of anger. What does that mean? What does it mean to maintain her husband? Now, all you have to know is to understand the other parts that we just read. We just gave you all the context in the world. What does it mean? Young man. No, not stay with him. She maintains you. What does that mean? Christians, what do Christians say this means? If you've ever heard a Christian break this down before. Christians say this means if a woman gives you money, she will hate you. That's what Christians say that this means. Meaning a man should always give the woman his money because, of course, you'll never hate her if you give her money. Is that correct? Huh? No brother ever hates a woman because he gives her his money. This has nothing to do with that. That's not what the scripture is about. This scripture is about that other thing that you do because she's beautiful, which is the topic, is it not? You chose her because you wanted to have sex with her. Her beauty makes you stumble. Now she maintains you. What does maintain mean? It's right in front of your face. Please, young man. Come on, you're right there. She keeps you, which is what maintain means. If I maintain my car, I keep my car. It's my car, so I maintain the boiler in this building. I maintain this place. If I maintain this place, then what is my relationship with this place? If I'm the maintenance man, then what is my relationship with the apartment, brother in the back? What does that mean? What is my relationship with it? No, not if you're the maintenance man. That's not my relationship with the apartment, right? What's my relationship with the car I maintain, with the building I maintain, with anything that I maintain? What is my relationship with the apartment, with the car, with the machine I maintain? Young man, I own it. I rule it. I decide. I'm the maintenance man. You can't move in on Sunday. I'm the maintenance man. You can't put that box there. Wait, I maintain this vehicle. This is my vehicle. It's mine. If you allow a woman to rule you, she will hate you if she rules you. Let me tell you something I heard years ago from Commanding General YAHANNA. Hit me like a ton of bricks back when I was a very young 20-year-old. No woman wants a punk. Now get that through your thick skull. No woman wants a punk. Right. You think she wants a punk. Why? Because she's so pretty. Because you want her so bad. And when you want a woman so bad, you will compromise your integrity to get her, which is what we're talking about in this precept, are we not? Don't stumble at her beauty. Don't do that. Don't get her to pleasure. And if she maintains you, she's going to hate you. If a woman knows that she is your boss, she is ruling you, she tells you what to do, she yells at you and embarrasses you publicly, she calls your mother and tells your mother all kinds of garbage on the phone just to exert her dominance over you. And some women absolutely do that. And you allow it because you really love having sex with her. Or this crazy one. You don't want anybody else to have sex with her. They're already having sex with her. Don't you understand that? They're already having sex with her. And the more you allow her to rule you, to maintenance you, to maintain you, she's definitely going to have sex with a real man. She's absolutely going to do it. She's going to hate you for your weakness. And you don't see it in her. Why? Because she's arguing and yelling. And so she don't put up with this and she don't put up with that. And you, because you want her to keep her so bad, you go, okay, all right. And what are you thinking in your mind? This is how I'll get to keep her. Because she told me, do you know there are brothers out who did not join the UPK because their woman told them not to do it because we believe in a man having more than one wife? Raise your hand if you have ever heard that before. That is, everyone in the room heard it. Can you imagine what those men are going through at home? Oh my God. Guess what their wives are doing? Having sex with other men. Their husband is in the IUIC and their wives are calling trying to have sex with my officers all the time. Am I making this up? You know I don't. You know I'm telling the truth. Because a woman, when she realizes you wanted to join the UPK, but your wife didn't like it because they're thugs and they're a cult and they're wild and they have sex with all these women. And your wife says, no, not them. These purple ones, that's the good one. That's the one I like. And you go, but baby, I really like them. And no, if you join them, it's over. I'm not going to be with you anymore. And then you stop watching the videos and start going to the IUIC, brother, she will hate you every day after that. After she wins that argument. A woman does not want to win those arguments. She doesn't want to win. She's hoping that she will challenge your masculinity and you will put her down. That is her desire in her heart. You can't tell because you listen to the words and you just really don't want to lose her. The key to a woman, let me sum this up for you, is to always be willing to lose them. Always. Who cares? Who cares? If she tries to leave you, she's a piece of garbage anyway. What are you keeping? What are you going to do? You go out there and buy her a ring because she's leaving you. That is a crazy thought. Like imagine the woman says, it's over, I'm leaving you. Well, here's a ring and a piece of paper tying me to you financially because you're leaving me. If a woman won't stay with you without a marriage certificate, why in the hell would she stay with you with a marriage certificate? She can just get a divorce. I think what do they cost? $100? I don't know if they cost that anymore. Alexa, how much is a divorce in the state of Pennsylvania? Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop. Alexa, how much does a divorce cost in the state of Pennsylvania?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, according to mainlinedivorcemediator.com, according to our survey, the average divorce in Pennsylvania costs $14,300, including $11,300 in attorney's fees.
Alexa, stop. Don't have no fear, brothers. That's for white people. That's not us. Don't worry about that. Y'all like, I ain't never leaving her. I'm going to stay with her and her boyfriend. She can have a boyfriend. I still ain't leaving. No, the actual cost for just the paperwork out is nothing. It's $100 or something like that. Just to sign the paperwork or get the annulment, it's nothing at all. They're talking about the divorce lawyer. You get my point. For white people, you got to go buy a lawyer, get a lawyer, and do this and do that. Things you're not doing. And she's not doing either. She's going to hand your paperwork out, and that's that. And you're going to try not to sign it for about 6 months until then you're going to eventually sign it. Why? Who knows? Come on. Give me what you're going to say to yourself when you sign the paperwork. If I really love her, I got to let her go. Let the bird go, because if I let her go, she'll come back. That's what your pastor will tell you. Your pastor going to tell you, sign it, because if you love her, you'll let her go. Don't you want her to be happy? And then you'll go sign that paperwork out. She was already having sex with them brothers before you signed it. All right, keep going.
Impudence and much reproach.
Alexa, what does impudence mean?
Impotence is usually defined as the condition.
Alexa,
of
stop. Alexa, what does impudence mean? Who has it? Go ahead.
So I had to look up the word impudent.
Alexa, what does impudent mean?
The adjective impudent is usually defined as of, relating to, or characterized by unmannerly intrusion or presumption, insolence.
Insolence,
For more, ask me to
unmannerly.
give you more
Alexa,
definition.
stop. Unmannerly intrusion. Well, that woman does not have any manners. How about I can't say the word I want to say? Is that correct? It's a rough one. This woman has no manners, Ark. And you've seen this type of woman your entire life. A lot of your mother was like that. Go ahead, Ark.
So the second part of the definition is shameless or brazenly immodest.
Shameless or brazenly immodest. Well, your wife just out and out disrespects you. Well, she go. Let me tell you something else. A woman who dresses like a promiscuous woman and lets you see it, she is doing that on purpose to challenge your masculinity. Like she's doing it to show you that she can go out in the streets and attract other men, and you cannot stop her. If you believe that to be true, then she is going to hate you. You always have to believe you have an option, brother. Always. Always. If you sit there and let your wife, well, you can't stand how she dresses. She walks around in tights all the time, naked all the time, breasts constantly out. You try to talk to her about it. She argues with you. When you met me, I was dressed like this. This is how I want to dress. If you shut your mouth and let her dress like she wants to, she will never love you again because she knows what that means. She knows that she maintains you. You need her. She don't need you. You understand? The car needs the person that maintains the car. The person, now the car needs him. The car doesn't get oil. Your car is owned by that person. Well, now she'll know that she owns you up because you shut your mouth when your wife dresses like a sex worker. You shut your mouth when that happens. You can't do that, Doc. You can't do it. Impudence. She'll just disrespect you all the time. Oh my God. You poor brothers, Doc. The things you're going through out there in that world. I don't understand you. I don't understand how you allow some woman to talk to you like that. I don't even get it. I just been in the truth too long. I don't understand it, especially when you can just go get another woman. What's your problem? But you're afraid of getting another, maybe you get another one that yells at you. Who cares? Then get a third one. Next. Anything else?
Got some questions from.
Let me go. Did you have more? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Verse 23, a wicked woman abateth the courage, maketh an heavy countenance, and a wounded heart.
So now that should tie the whole thing together. All this is about her being wicked. The maintenance of you is about her being wicked. You being weak over her beauty and only wanting her for pleasure. A wicked woman abateth. Alexa, what does the word abate mean?
The verb abate is usually defined as to reduce in amount, degree, intensity.
Alexa, stop. To reduce. A wicked woman abates your strength. She weakens your strength. So many of you think that you just can't go on and you're miserable, but it's because of her. She is weakening you. She's halfway, she's radiation. She's like, radiation. So there's a heat coming off of her that is just making you sicker and sicker every day. She's radioactive. And the more you're around her, you're going to go closer and closer to the grave. Everybody knows what I'm talking about because men go through this in silence. They say nothing about it. They don't talk about it. They don't complain. They don't cry about it. They just think there's nothing they could do. Why? Because they want to be in their children's lives. And so because you want to be a father, you have to let this woman destroy you little by little every day. You're not helping your children by doing that. Your children are not going to be better off because they saw their father deteriorate in front of their eyes. They're not going to be better children for that. I pray you understand. Don't do it. What's the point of all of this, Ox? Stand up to her, man. Stand up to her. Call a woman a female dog, Ox. Do it. Do the things she doesn't like. If she is trying to weaken you and emasculate you, what you have to do is weaken her and feminize her. You understand? And you can make a woman feel like a little girl like with words. She'll feel like a little girl. Before you know it, she's back in the 8th grade again. Just a little girl wanting a boy to like her. And as she's crying and on the floor curled up because of something you said to her, inside she's going, I'll never leave him. I love him. He's a man. This is what I need. This is what I need to get myself right. This is what I need. Everybody understand? All right. You got it now or not? Next.
Hey, you got some questions from TikTok.
Please. Also, Captain Yatazak had one I needed in Genesis about a man having more than one wife in Genesis. If you can type in and remind me. I want to say it was Genesis 21. I'll get to it in a second. Go ahead.
Come. Our brother from TikTok asked is when you were talking about Ashkenazis and the cause, are they the same? Like Amalek and the Ashkenazis, he's asking, are they the same people?
Yes, they're the same people, right? The so-called Ashkenazi Jews and Amalek are the same people. You have Sephardic Jews, which come from the region around France, right? And then you have the Ashkenazi Jew, and that's Amalek. That particular tribe of Edomites. The Edomites are, in general, that's an umbrella for every so-called white race, the Edomites in the Bible. They're all Edomites, right? And then just like we have tribes, they have tribes. One of their tribes is Amalek. Those are the people you would call today the Ashkenazi Jews, all right? And let me tell you something. That's a very disappointing people on this earth, man. Like so many people, like I look at the Asians and I look at the people from India and especially so-called Jewish people. And I am very disappointed in them. And I'll explain to you why. They went through great trauma in Germany. Adolf Hitler, man, orchestrated the murder of 6 million of them. And then the ones that survived were in absolute hell. And they survived that. They went through it for 4 years, where he tried to exterminate them. They went through it for 4 years. They left and escaped by the grace of God out of Adolf Hitler's Germany and came to America to hate and oppress black people. You would think someone that went through so much racism would have mercy and kindness on black people. You would think someone who just went through the exact same thing that we're going through in America, you would think they would look at us and understand what we're going through. But instead, in Brooklyn, they buy our houses, oppress us, push us out of the neighborhood, take everything we have, and become slumlords over ghettos, and have no compassion for people going through the same thing they went through 50 years ago. You think they would have a little more compassion. They're very disappointing. Very disappointing. Anything else? Questions?
One brother in the comments was asking about your shield. If you could break that down. Shield.
So this shield right here, this is called in Hebrew the Magun Dawadah. The Magun Dawadah literally means the shield of David. David had a signature. Pick a signature. Give me Oprah Winfrey's signature or Arsenio Hall's signature. Many famous people have a signature, right? And the purpose of a signature, the original signature, was to write your name in a way that it could be imprinted into wax so it could make a seal. A long time ago, that's instead of having stamps or instead of having writing your name, they would take clay, they would put it on a scroll, seal it up, and then the king or the lord or the person of importance would stamp his imprint, his signet, by his ring onto the wax. And then when you saw it, you knew that this letter came from the king. So many rich people, see that O? That's her signet. So they write it in a way that it can be pressed. Give me Arsenio Hall's now. That's Oprah Winfrey's. Oprah Winfrey's, I believe on her show, was an O. Give me that one where it's just an O with Oprah Winfrey. She had a TV show and her symbol was an O. It was just a big O. The brother will put it up on the screen in 1 second. Well, you look up the term signet ring or signature in your Bible dictionary, it's going to say virtually verbatim what I just told you just now. And they would write their name in a fancy or artistic way, right? So it could be printed onto wax, which is where the term signet comes from. The term signature comes from signet. A signet was a symbol that represented your name. This is the symbol for King David's name. These are two das right here. King David's name is Da. In the ancient Hebrew, this so-called triangle symbol is a da. So two das was how David wrote his name when it went on wax. It was on his ring. And later on, all of his officers began to wear his shield. What's another term for a shield? A badge. Every police officer today, they call their badges shields because it protects them, because it lets everyone know they represent the city. They represent the FBI. We represent the kingdom of David. Do you understand? And so we all rock a shield like a badge because that's what David's men did. You see the O right there. Show me Arsenio Hall. This is all over the damn place. You see him 1,000 times, right? You can just look it up in your Bible dictionary. This is how David wrote his ring. You can find this on archaeology. Jesus, 10,000 years ago. You know, you can just look it up and you'll see it. This is where it comes from. It's David's name. We wear it because Jesus Christ sits on the throne of his forefather David. So Jesus Christ is ruling over David's kingdom. Everybody understand? You go to your Bible's dictionary, you look these things up, you go to Revelations 11, you'll see the angel that had the seal of the living God. And that's the seal of the kingdom of God, which is the kingdom of David. Jesus Christ is the current king and the everlasting king over that kingdom. Next. If you can't find it, it's fine. That's good enough for him.
No more questions on that.
Daniela, see me one more time. So what I had some videos I needed to play, right? Let me practicar mi español for 1 second, and then give me that Bad Bunny thing. Then we also have to go over forced sterilization in Peru. Yeah, we'll do this. Did I send you this one? I didn't send you this one. Let me give you this one as well. We'll do this right after this story, all right? This is the forced sterilization. Go over it and just find the meat of it. Okay, give me the Bad Bunny first while we're doing that. 1 second. Stand by. Am I missing questions in the room? Go ahead, Warrior.
I have a question. I'm gonna read it. Book Luke chapter 22, verse 19. When Christ is saying to do this in remembrance of me, what is he telling the people to do? I'm gonna read it for you, sir.
No problem.
The book of Luke chapter 22, verse 19. And he took bread and gave thanks and brake it and gave unto them, saying, this is my body, which is given for you. This do in remembrance of me.
1 second. Hold on. I'm just getting my stuff together. Hold on. I'll get you. I'll answer that question for you. No problem. Lay it down nice and flat for you. Read it one more time.
And he took bread and gave thanks.
What you're reading about is this is when Christ was celebrating the feast of unleavened bread, right? This is when the feast, or is it the Passover? I always forget which one this is. It's either go ahead. It sounds right? It's the feast of unleavened bread, right? The feast of unleavened bread was the last meal that Christ ate with his 12 disciples. After this, he was killed, right? This was the last time he met with his friends. This is the last time he met with the brothers who he loved. These brothers meant the world to him, brother. And being in the UPK, if those of you who don't understand what I mean, you will one day. You might understand it now, you might understand it better later. To love a brother, where he means the world to you. And you really can't understand it until you've given up something for him, until you've lost your family for him, until you've lost your children to be able to be with him, until you've lost your wife and you're hated, all because you refuse to leave his side. Now, after you do that, oh, he means something to you. Christ felt that way about these brothers because he was giving his life for them. He was giving up everything he had for them. And this was the last time they would be together, the last time they would drink wine and break bread with each other. And he knew that when they broke bread again, when they ate again, he would not be there. He wouldn't be there anymore. And so he's saying, when you eat together again, when you celebrate the Passover again, when you have eat at the Feast of Unleavened Bread again, remember me. You understand? Next. Come on.
Real quick. It has nothing to do with communion. That's what I was saying.
No, this is about something. This is about that other thing. You get me? This is not religious. This is brotherhood. That is One West. You understand? People in church can't understand what I'm saying. This is something else. This person, you got to go to jail with him for this. You get my point? You gotta, they gotta threaten to kill everybody this week if you go out to camp. You gotta go through that. I remember how many weeks I go on my phone and me and myself and General Mayak and Haas and the general sit around and I played a message that goes, beep. If you effers come out there to camp this week, I'm killing every one of you. I'm shooting that whole camp up. I'm what? I'm unaliving everybody in the UPK who shows up this week to camp. That becomes to be a common occurrence. And never would you think to not go to camp that week. And here's what Christians won't understand. The reason if someone threatens to kill everybody at camp, which if you're in the truth, that's going to happen. That someone is going to say, if you come out here next week, I am killing everyone here who's ever there. And things like this happen because you're from the ghetto. Corners get shot up. People get shot. Well, come on, United. Give me the word. People will get harmed with gun bullets, push bullets into people. Quickly, fast. People will be harmed. People can be harmed because they're standing on a corner. Here we are standing on a corner for 8 hours, right here on this corner. Now, the reason that you must show up is because you can't fathom the idea of your brothers getting killed without you. I couldn't stand that. Like, it would be too much for me. Just the thought of it will make me cry. Because if I thought that somebody was going to get killed today, I better be one of them. If someone is going to be harmed, it better be me. It better be no one else. Can you imagine you not going? Oh my God. Listen, brother. Moving on. That can't happen. Something like that cannot happen. That's why he said, remember me. Because he was leaving them and he wanted to be with them. He wished he could be there. So when you go to eat, when you're laughing and drinking wine and breaking bread, think about me. Remember me. Because I'm leaving for you. You understand? Anything else? Go ahead.
I have Captain Yonkers. I want to break down Exodus chapter 21 and verse 10 to 11. Exodus chapter 21 and verse 10. If he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish.
Give me the precept in the New Testament. What's this right here?
Oh, that's the bad one.
Okay. The precept in the New Testament where Christ said that we're not allowed to divorce. I believe that's in Luke. Moses gave you the bill of divorce in the beginning. It was not so. Right? This is the scriptural basis on Christ saying that the Most High God did not want us to divorce. This and in the book of Genesis. This is the law. Christ is saying, if thou gets another wife, if you decide to get another wife, what you are giving the first wife cannot diminish. What is that called? You get one wife, and you stop giving what you were giving to the first one, and you start giving it to the second one. What do they call that today? That's called divorce. That's what that's called. You're living with this woman, you're coming together with her, you're giving her whatever you have that you can give her. You get another wife, now you start doing that for the new one, and you stop doing it for the old one. Why did you stop doing it for the old wife? It's very simple. If you brothers get another wife, this will be the temptation. You'll get a new woman, and you'll want to treat her better than you do your first wife. You get my point? In this scenario, both of them are in the truth. This is not the scenario where you married to some, Bigfoot troglodyte who's a monster. I'm talking about this woman is your wife. You're together. She's down with you. You're down with her. But then over the course of time, you just want another woman. Well, the new woman is going to demand that you leave the old one. She's going to demand it. A lot of them, because they're terrible people, they only really want you because they want to belittle your other wife. They want to hurt her. You understand? And they get like some type of a sense of self-esteem by taking a man from a woman. And so many women, when you tell them, you have another wife, they'll say, I have no problem with that. Because in their mind, they think that when you start having sex with them, because they're so beautiful and their vagina is somehow better than everybody else's, they're going to get you to leave your other wife. And they think that. And you don't know it because you're stupid. But that's what they think. They think, sure, I don't mind if you have another woman. I'm fine with that. Before you know it, why are you going over there? Why are you calling her? They just make life so difficult for you to be with your first wife, because they're going to be shocked when you don't leave your first wife, because they thought you were going to leave her, even though they never said it. Do you understand what I'm bringing out to you? Come on.
If I may, sir, but you bring it out of this so heavy. I think I was talking to the preaching on to the 5,000 block about this. Is that in these movies they portray it that way, like it make it seem like when you go get another rib, another sister, you just go beat her up, drag her out the crib or whatever. Like you're supposed to leave her. Like you're not gonna leave that.
Nah. And they think that, and they think that you are going to leave your first wife, but you're not. You're going to be with both of them. It would be like having a new daughter and throwing away your old daughter. You're going to keep both of your daughters. Why? Because you're all of their daddies. Those are your babies, and you're not going to throw away a daughter simply because you have a new daughter. What type of daddy would you be? Some new women, they don't understand that. So they're going to press you to stop helping her, to stop seeing her, which is divorce. Everybody understands? I'll make it more clear with this precept. Go ahead. Read the precept I asked for.
Okay.
Nice and loud.
This is about Matthew 19 and verse 3. The Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him, and saying unto him,
The camera looks too low, Ak. Is it low? Like it's pointed down. It's good to go?
Oh, come on, you watch.
Solid.
Oh, the phone?
Yeah, the phone.
Oh, you watch.
Solid. Go ahead. Solid.
Is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause?
I'm sorry. They said, is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause? The reason they're asking this to Jesus Christ is because they know about this precept. And this precept absolutely says you can put your wife away for every cause. If you find some uncleanness in her, you can leave her. It's in the Bible. You give her a bill of divorce, which is a written letter of your intent to leave her. She has it. She's single. That's in the Old Testament. They're coming to Christ to get him to say it's wrong to divorce your wife because they know he is against divorce. But they know Moses said you could divorce. And if Christ is caught saying something opposite to what Moses said, he could be stoned to death. So many times they'll ask Christ a question, knowing that if he gives the wrong answer, he'll be killed. That's the same thing that happened when they said, this woman was caught in the act of adultery. What say you? Because if Christ says, don't stone her, then they stone him. Because that is against the law of Moses to say not to stone her. So Christ doesn't say that. Christ says, let he that is without sin cast the first stone. And then all of those sinners drop their stones and leave. And then Christ turns to that woman and says, go and sin no more. Do you understand? This is a very similar case. They know Christ is against divorce. He teaches against it, but they're trying to get him to say divorce is wrong, because then they can stone him, because Moses said divorce is right. Does everyone understand? Now read it again.
Okay. The Pharisees also came unto him, tempting him, and saying,
Tempting him. That's what you need to understand the point. They're tempting him with this. Go ahead.
and saying unto him, Is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause?
Is it lawful for a man to put away his wife for every cause, for any cause? Keep going.
Verse 4. And he answered and said unto them, Have ye not read that he which made them at the beginning made them male and female?
Have ye not read that he which made them at the beginning means Genesis, Akim. He which made them at the beginning made them male and female. Keep going.
Verse 5. And said, For this cause shall a man leave father and mother, and shall cleave to his wife.
For this cause shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave to his wife. You started off in one family. There will come a time when you will leave that family and begin a new family. That's why, because the Most High made you male and female. You're created and designed to be raised by two people, to be raised up to one point, and then for you to leave them and to raise your own people, to start a family. Keep going.
And they twain shall be one flesh.
And they what?
And they twain shall be one flesh.
And they twain, the word twain means two. And they twain shall be one flesh. Keep going.
Verse 6. Wherefore they are no more twain.
Wherefore they're no longer two. They're not two people anymore. They're one. Keep going.
But one flesh.
But one flesh. Keep going.
What therefore God hath joined together, let not man put asunder.
Therefore, what God have brought together, let no man make asunder. Asunder means to separate. You are never supposed to leave a woman. She is never supposed to leave you. Not if you believe in God. The Christian church condones a divorce. Every preacher and pastor in there is on their third marriage. They talk as if they don't condone premarital sex, when everyone in there is having premarital sex. And that's not counting the child molesters, and they are many. Christ said two are no longer two, but they're one. Keep going.
Okay. Verse 7. They say unto him, Why did Moses then command to give a writing of divorcement?
Now here they go. Well, then why did Moses say you could give him a written divorcement if two are one? Why did Moses say that? All this just trying to tempt him into saying something that can get him killed. Keep going.
And to put her away. Verse 8. He saith unto them, Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, suffered you to put away your wives.
You understand that? Moses, because of the hardness of your hearts, Moses suffered you. The term suffered you means like he didn't like it, but he let it happen. He suffered it. He endured your divorce. That's what Moses did. Why? Because he knew that you could not forgive each other. That's what the hardness of your hearts mean. That's why marriages end. Marriages end. Now, once again, I'm not talking about you sisters. Some of you sisters marry a psychopath. He's some type of psychopath. He chains you to the damn radiator and, electrocute you and, molest your kids. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about two people who are good parents, but they can't get along. The reason that you divorce is because you can't forgive. Your hearts are hard. And marriage is the art of waking up every day and starting over. That's the art. It's something that some people become experts in, and some people are inadequate at it. Being able to just get up every day and start over. You argued last night. The Bible says, go not to sleep upon thy anger. You make sure you make up before you go to bed. You're unhappy with this situation. You're unhappy that he has another woman. He's unhappy that you don't cook as much as he wants, or that you do this, or that you do that. Everyone is unhappy with something about somebody. marriage is where you learn to forgive. It's an art, and you can master it. Everyone understands. All right. Christ said Moses suffered this because of the hardness of your hearts. Keep going.
But from the beginning, it was not so.
But from the beginning, from Genesis, that's not how it was. Two became one in Genesis. Two became one with Adam and Eve. That's how it was. Everybody understands that. Now, give me, if a man find, this is a good one, but I'm looking for the one where he said, if a man take on a new wife and leave his other one, that's adultery. You know that one. Let me know when you find that.
Verse 9. And I say unto you, whoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication.
This is it right on the mark right here. Whoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication. There's only one lawful reason to put away your wife, and that is adultery. You know, if your wife is some type of sexual deviant, then that is a lawful reason to leave her, and you must leave her. You found out that your wife is committing adultery, you have to leave her out. She's gone. Some of you married an old sick woman. She's a alternative lifestyle woman. It's over. You understand? That's not your wife anymore. You're done. You found out your wife is having any sexual acts with anyone other than you. She is a single woman. Shalom. Everybody understands. That is the lawful reason to leave your wife. If your wife finds out that you have sex with other people, she has to stay with you. She cannot leave you for that reason. Everyone understands. It's sad to say, baby girl, but men and women are different. That's how it is. I didn't invent the difference in men and women. That's the birds and the bees, baby. Men and women are different. Boys and girls are not the same. You understand? We're not the same. So things that a boy can do, you can't do. And things that a girl can do, a boy can't do. Right? That's just nature. That's science. Right? Well, he can have other women, but you cannot have other men. Simple enough to understand. Keep going.
And shall marry another, committed adultery.
Read that again. Whosoever
Whosoever shall put away his wife, except it be for fornication, and shall marry another, committed adultery. And whosoever married her, which is put away, doth commit adultery.
That's what Christ said. If you get another woman and put away your other woman, you have committed adultery. He's saying that based on this precept right here we're about to read. You get a new wife and you leave the other one. Where is that done at? Every day in the Christian church. Every day in the IUIC. Every day. They believe in marrying one woman. So what does that mean? They leave the first one when they want a new one. That is adultery in the Bible. You cannot leave a woman and marry another woman. And whoever marries that woman that you left, he commits adultery as well. What does that mean? You got to stay together. That's it. You put your penis in her. That is your wife for the rest of your life. Done. Right? We're not going to talk about it. That's your wife. Everybody gets it, right? Now go back to the precept that Yatazar pulled.
Sir. Mm-hmm. The book of Exodus, chapter 21 and verse 10. If he take him another wife, her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage, shall he not diminish?
So Moses is saying if you get another wife, you can't leave the first one. You can now where you stop helping the first one and you start giving what you were giving the first one to the second one. That's leaving her. You just replace her. You can't do that. Keep going.
Go.
Come on, that's what I need.
Verse 11.
Get me right on it. Go ahead.
And if he do not,
go ahead.
The book of Exodus, chapter 21, verse 11. And if he do not these three unto her.
Now, if he doesn't do these three, meaning if he decides to give everything to the second one and he doesn't give you anything, if he does that, if he doesn't give you these three things, keep going.
Then shall she go out free without money.
Then she can leave without money. She's just gone. That's it. She doesn't have to pay anything. She's gone. Keep going.
Verse 12. He that smiteth a man so that he die shall be surely put to death.
Oh, I'm not sure what Yahtazak was talking about. I believe he was talking about that. He was just talking about divorce. That's a divorce law. That's what Christ was talking about. Moses suffered you to be divorced because of the hardness of your hearts. Since you can't forgive each other, since you refuse to love this woman, so you went and got a new woman so that you can forget about the first one, and since she's sitting there and you won't give her anything and she's starving to death, fine, I'll let you leave each other. But Moses did not want it that way. He suffered it. In the beginning, it was not so. If that's your point, Yahtazak, that's the answer. All right. I'm not sure what they're battling about it on Chat House for, but that's the answer. All right. Next. Wait, let me get this video. Hold on 1 second. Let me get this out of the way. Bear with me 1 second. Pas asiati. Hold on. Pas asiati, mi gente. Somos la escuela israelita de conocimiento práctico universal desde 1 Oeste Calle 125, Harlem, Nueva York, bajo el mando del general YAHANNA. Desde el 1969. Carnales, esta es la verdad si tú eres. I'm going to replace this Espanol with Latino. Si tú eres Latino, negro o indio, nativo, I'm sorry, let me start again. Carnales, este es la verdad si tú eres Latino, negro o indio, nativo, tú eres Israel, el pueblo elegido de Dios. All right. Let me make sure my pasacity was good. All right. Go ahead. Also, where's the brother Yashikar? Yashikar, give me a call when you get this. I need to talk to someone in Spanish once a week for 15 minutes. A straight up Spanish conversation with no English. Yashikar, if you're up to it, Doc, I would appreciate it if you could call me. We'll handle it. We'll deal with it after class or something, all right? Go ahead. I'm sorry. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and read. Oh, play this video. Speaking of Issachar, speaking of the tribes, the Peruvians, what tribe is that? Peru. Someone look that up for me, huh? Naphtali. Play this video real fast. This is from the Grammys, all right? The Grammy Awards were like 2 weeks ago, right? Before they chose the artist who was going to have album of the year, they had their biggest fans come out on a round table and debate which one should be album of the year. So each one of them, the Beyonce biggest fan talked. I don't know anybody else up there, but all of their biggest fans talked. Now, one of the finalists was Bad Bunny. Have you heard of him before? What tribe is he? Ephraim? Bad Bunny is an Ephraimite who is an extremely popular Latino musical artist, right? And he had an album that was up for album of the year. So his biggest fan came up to discuss why Bad Bunny and his album should be album of the year. Are you with me? Now, this is her argument for why Bad Bunny should win album of the year. Now, you go ahead and play that. Listen carefully. Make sure they can see it out too. Even on TikTok. No, they can't hear that. They can't hear that. Can we play it another way?
They can hear it.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Oh, I didn't know. Rewind then. I'm sorry. Whenever you, I'll wait for you if you need me to. The part I want, we passed already. It's right there in the beginning. Stop. He dresses in drag. He kisses his back. He dresses in drag. He kisses his backup dancers of any gender, dismantling machismo. Alexa, what does machismo mean?
Machismo is usually defined as a strong or exaggerated sense of manliness, an assumptive attitude that
Stop.
courage,
Stop.
strength, an entitlement to dominate are attributes or concomitants of masculinity.
Alexa, stop. Alexa, what does machismo mean?
Machismo is usually defined as a strong or exaggerated sense of manliness, an assumptive attitude that virility, courage, strength, and entitlement to dominate are attributes or concomitants of masculinity.
Alexa, stop. This woman is saying that you should vote for Bad Bunny because he dismantles masculinity, courage. Here is the problem with the alternative lifestyle community. They are intolerant. They don't have any tolerance, Doc. Why do they have to dismantle manhood? Can't we just be men and you be an alternative lifestyle? Damn, men have to disappear. Like, so now masculinity has to be dismantled. So no one, God forbid anyone tries to dismantle, what can I call it?
The alternative.
God forbid someone says, I want to dismantle alternative lifestyles. Then I'm a hate group member now. This woman is not in a hate group. She wants to dismantle masculinity, manhood. She wants to destroy it. Why do you have to destroy masculinity? Can't you live side by side, masculine men? Can't we all live here together? I got to be destroyed so that alternative lifestyles can have freedoms. I have to go away. I can't be a man. I can't have courage. I just asked Alexa what it means. Alexa said courage is machismo.
Sorry.
Alexa, stop. And there is some word that means you're a masculine man in Mexican Spanish. A machista. I believe that's what it is. Macheta. Someone tell me who speaks Spanish. A machiesta. Someone tell me what the hell I'm talking about. Machiesta. It means you're a masculine man. Come on. Go ahead, brother. Macho means man. Oh, yeah, it's strong. But this is a word if you're a man who emphasizes machismo, you're a machieso. Or man, somebody got to text it in, all right? Anyway, these LGBT people are intolerant, Doc. They don't have any tolerance. Why can't we all live together? Why can't they accept or allow us to exist? We can't even exist. It's sad. Like, I'm disappointed in you LGBT people because of your intolerance and your hate. That's hateful. That came on the Grammys. You know how many millions of people agreed with dismantling masculinity? I'm sorry. How soon until everyone who has machismo has to be hunted down and thrown in ovens? How soon until we all have to die because all masculine men have to go away? Let me show you something that you might need. You might need a man to fix this problem. Give me the video I need for Peru. I believe that's the last one I can do. Give me the video in Peru. This is happening right now in Peru. The Peruvian people, they're a Latino people. They're the tribe of Naphtali. The Peruvians are the chosen people of God, the native people of Peru. They're the chosen people of God. This is happening right now in Peru. In Peru, they're having an epidemic of forced sterilization. Shout out to the young sister Salah. Give her a hand. She gave me this info. She did a school project on this and gave me this 2 days ago. This was her school project. She gave it to me. They have 240,000 sterilizations in Peru, meaning women who are being sterilized, meaning they're having hysterectomies. Ovaries are being removed, wombs are being removed. Out of 250,000, 96,000 of them, they did not ask the permission of the woman. They never asked them. The woman went in there for some minor medical situation. And they gave her a hysterectomy and never told her. And the whole forced sterilization issue is based on this. Let me read it right here. I'll read it.
Sir.
Go ahead.
Tied down and sterilized. Peru's dark history of family planning.
Go ahead.
The first time nurses visited Gloria Basilio, she told them that she wasn't interested in sterilization surgery. She already had 3 children but wanted more. The nurses kept returning to her home in remote Peruvian countryside. They told her that the president himself had ordered the procedure for women with large families.
They live in the countryside. She has 3 daughters. She has 3 children. They're poor people. And the government sends nurses and doctors into these villages to convince these women to have hysterectomies. Why? If you want to understand the abortion epidemic, the forced sterilization epidemic, all you have to understand is the alley cat epidemic.
Right.
That's it. Every alley cat should be what? What do they tell you time and time again on TV? Make sure that you do what? Spay or neuter your cats. You must spay or neuter your cat. If the animal control finds an alley cat on the street, they pick him up, they take him to the clinic, and they spay and neuter every alley cat. They don't ask the alley cat's permission. You understand? Because the state feels like every alley cat is a drain on the system. They have to feed these cats. These cats are poor. These cats don't have homes. These cats live outside. When they get pregnant, they have babies that the cat can't take care of. So every alley cat in every country is sterilized to keep down the alley cat population, right? If you can get that, then you can understand what Planned Parenthood is. It is a system that was set up by the same people who set up the animal control people. That's history. Animal control was set up before Planned Parenthood, before it. And they just went and applied the same thinking, the same humanitarian ideas to blacks and Hispanics. The same humanitarian ideas that the Humane Society gives cats. You can't feed your babies, so we're taking away your right to have a baby, even if you don't want it. Why? Because you can't take care of this child. You don't have any money, so we're sterilizing you. This is happening in Peru right now. Keep going.
For women who reproduce like rabbits, with her husband away, Basilio finally conceded.
You understand? Meaning the state says you reproduce like rabbits. You just keep having babies. So while read that part one more time.
It said they told her that the president himself had ordered the procedure for women with large families, women who they said reproduce like rabbits.
That sounds familiar, blacks and Hispanics? Huh? You reproduce so much. You have so many babies. You always pregnant. You just keep getting people pregnant all the time. They said the president forced you to do this. And then something happened. Read it again. After babies. If you can, skip down and show me what the percentage of these forced sterilizations are. What percentage are forced? Wait, first read this part. Go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Women, they said, that reproduce like rabbits.
Keep going.
The government has said more than 272,000 women.
Listen carefully. 272,000 women. Keep going.
And 22,000 men.
And 22,000 men. 272,000 women and 22,000 men. You go to the doctor for anything, a hernia, anything. While you're in there, they cut your urethra. They cut the tube that supplies semen to you that comes out of your body so that you can they give you a vasectomy. When you're in there for anything, you have a broken foot and you come out with a vasectomy. 22,000 men, 272,000 women. Keep going.
Receive sterilizations. As of September, nearly 7,500 people 96% of them women had joined a government registry claiming they never consented.
Please focus on this number, please. What percentage?
96% of the women never consented.
272,000 women. 96% of 272,000 went and signed up to say, I never gave permission to give me a hysterectomy. My God, man. Are you kidding? That is what is happening to the chosen people of God in Peru. Now, let me explain to you why it's happening. Go back up to that one story, that anecdote, that one sister that agreed to do it. Can you go back to there, you die? Go ahead. Read what you word with that.
It says the nurses kept returning to her home in the remote Peruvian side. They told her that the president himself had ordered a procedure for women with large families who said they reproduce like rabbits, with her husband away.
Read that again.
With her husband away.
Read that again.
With her husband away.
They kept coming to the house, to the village, trying to convince her. One day, her husband was not there. Keep going.
Basilio finally conceded.
She gave in. Let me explain something to the people that want to dismantle machismo, that want to get rid of courage and heroism and masculinity. Every problem a woman has can be solved with a courageous man. Every single problem. Do you know what is happening on the so-called North American Indian reservations right now? An epidemic of little girls being kidnapped. And they're going up and down the streets of the reservation, trying to get women to be aware, trying to get women to walk in pairs, trying to get women to understand the danger that they're in. And they absolutely should. But there is only one thing that will save the life of, and that is machismo. That's what saves women's lives. That's what stops women from being victimized. Every villain knowing that every little girl has a daddy and a big brother and a husband. Even the worst villain who thinks he's a bully and he thinks he's big. He thinks it doesn't matter how small that little so-called North American Indian girl is. She's so tiny. He can just pick her up, put her in a van and disappear. And because she's North American Indian, no one will ever care that she's missing. Go do your research on that, on the prolific serial killers that have focused on Black and Latino children. And they killed hundreds of children. Look up some names I'll give you this Thursday. Hundreds. And they're never found out for 40 years. Why? Because they're killing the right kind of child. They're killing the children that no one cares about, that no one gives a damn about. The only thing that that villain will ever care about is a man. And there are some brothers, daughters you can't kidnap. Some wives you can't assault. I pray you understand that. The solution to every problem a woman is having is machismo. Does everyone understand? With that, pass the class over to Police Officer Danyala. Danyala, give him a hand.